Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this video to learn about the first year experience curriculum. When you open your Blackboard site, you're going to notice that it is populated with content. This video is to explain how the content works and how you can best prepare for your classes. Some general tips are to be sure to block out time to prep and to work at least 1 week ahead of your students so that you'll be fully prepared for class. The pre-class materials may need to be printed and distributed the class session before you plan to lecture, so you'll want to be really familiar with what's coming up so that you can give the students what they need to prepare for class. So when you open your Blackboard site, you're going to see an announcement. It says welcome to class, and this is an announcement that's intended to be for your students, and it just explains where they can find the content and to go to syllabus and other information to find the pertinent documents such as the syllabus and the course schedule. You can add to this announcement, you can create new announcements, it's up to you, but this was just placed there for your convenience. So let's go to syllabus and other course information to talk about the structure of this course. One thing you're going to notice is that there's purple text throughout the Blackboard site. This is text that is contextual information for you, the instructor. And the items that have purple text are not available to students by default. And these are the items that you have to go in and read the directions, follow them, and then when the item is ready, you make the area available to students. So the first item is the course syllabus. And you can see that the syllabus is built for you, but that there are some things that you have to adjust and add, like your section number, CRN, start date. Also, there are items highlighted in yellow that you have to change the date. For instance, there's a service learning activity and you have to put your dates in and your information. You have to put in your information for academic campus services dependent on the campus you're in. So you download the syllabus, you update it with all of your information. And then when you're done, you edit the item and you delete the current template and add your own and make the item available. The next item on the list is the course schedule template. But before we talk about the template, we need to talk a little bit about content. And it would help if you would look at your document titled First Year Experience Schedule and Point Values. If you don't have this, you can contact Lori Coggins for a copy. On this list, there are 13 different lists. On this list, there's 13 modules that that are required in this course. And it tells you how many class sessions are needed to cover the modules. So for example, advising is 2 class sessions. Now this is predicated on the 16-week semester for a class that meets 2 times a week. So if your class is different than that, you'll have to change this proportionally. Attendance is just something that you do. It's worth 50 points, and there are no class sessions. Career exploration takes 1 class section. The introduction is a partial session, just 30 minutes. Diversity is 1 plus 1 partial, so it's 1.5. And so anyway, that is how you know how to schedule. So it also tells you on this document how many points are possible for the module and what the assignments are that go with it. So this information is going to help you when you get to the schedule. So the next item in the syllabus and other information area is the course schedule template. And again, you'll see purple text, so this is for you. The item is not available to students, and it's telling you to download the document, fill in the dates for your class meetings, and move any of the scheduled topics as needed to fit your specific schedule. And let's look at that. Here is your schedule example, and you'll see that you've got a place where you can put in your dates, your specific dates. Remember that this is predicated on the 16-week class that meets 2 times a week, and you may have to adjust these if your class has a once-a-week meeting time, or another type of, maybe if it's an 8-week and it meets longer, then you're going to have to do some proportioning and adjust. You'll have the topics and modules, the pre-class activities, and the homework. So this is your schedule for your students. Now, there are some things that require a classroom, such as the TCC technology module. You will get a note from Lori Coggins or from her office that will tell you when a computer classroom is scheduled for you. And the reason for that is that there are only so many computer classrooms, and there are a lot of first-year experience sections, and so everybody can't be teaching that module on the same day at the same time. And some people will have to shift to a different day. Also, advisors come in, and again, there are only so many advisors, and so there's going to have to be some shifting, but you'll get information about when your advising session and when your technology session is scheduled, and you will just adjust your schedule to and build around that. So after you make your schedule, you are going to save it, and you can copy and paste it at the end of the syllabus, and you might want to consider making the schedule just a copy of your schedule and leaving it in this schedule area for students who might want to just print the schedule rather than the whole syllabus. So up to you on how you do that. So the next thing we're going to look at is these content modules. And you'll see that there are the 13 modules that we talked about. The first one is the course introduction, and that's at the top because we assume that everybody will be doing that first. And then each of the modules is listed by alphabetical order. One thing I did not mention was that there is one module for you where it's instructor choice, and this was on your first year experience schedule and points value down at the bottom. You have discretion of the instructor, and you have 100 points. So there might be something that you feel like you want to do in more depth, or you have something that's not on the schedule. And this is, you have 3 classes plus 2 partials to do other or related assignments or deeper assignments, and you will assign 100 points to those assignments. So, so that's where the modules are. Inside of each of the modules, you're going to find that the first item is what's called instructor resources. These will not be available to students, and you won't make them available to students. But inside of instructor resources, you're going to find that you have a course introduction, or you have a module plan. This one's called course introduction, but each of them will be called by whatever the content is. And then you'll have all the material that you need for the lesson inside of here. A lot of it is duplicated with what the students see, but everything that you need is inside of instructor resources. Okay, so let's take a deeper look at how the first year experience schedule and point values works when looking at Blackboard. On the schedule and point values, you see that career exploration is a module that has 1 class session and 55 points possible. And those 55 points come from the type focus assessment results and the reflection. So in your Blackboard module, you've got your instructor resources. They have a pre-class activity two pre-class activities, actually 3 pre-class activities that they do before they come. And then they have an in-class student introduction presentation, and they actually do their survey and go through the survey results. And that, participating in that, is worth the the 25 points, and then they have a homework that's a reflection for 30 points. And so that is how the points are derived and align with what is in Blackboard. You can also see that the student schedule aligns with the content modules. For instance, you begin with the topic or module course introduction, and there's a folder for course introduction. TCC service learning, if you scroll down, you find service learning, TCC technology. So you can see that the students should easily be able to find their materials by looking at their schedule and then finding the module in Blackboard. Okay, you may be wondering about how students will submit work. We have made options for you. You can, if what you're used to is handing out homework and having the students print and hand you back a piece of paper, you can do that. There's a column in the gradebook, and you can just enter the scores in the gradebook. If you are somebody who likes students to submit in Blackboard, you can make the assignments available. You'll notice that all assignments are not available, but you can certainly make them available, and the directions are there. And you'll see in the purple text, it says, if you want students to submit an electronic copy of their career exploration reflection assignment, you need to make the item available, and it tells you exactly how to do it. So if you decide to make this available, students will submit inside of Blackboard, and you will access the assignments in the Blackboard gradebook. And if you need any assistance with that, you can again send a note to bbsupport@tulsacc.edu and let a technologist know that you'd like to make an appointment. Let's take a look at the setup of the gradebook. Go to the Full Grade Center, Control Panel, Full Grade Center, to view the Grade Center. Your gradebook is set up with a total points possible of 900 points. This includes the 900 points that are part of the template curriculum, and you will be adding 100 points into it through your instructor choice assignments. If you go to Manage, Column Organization, you can see at a glance all of the assignments in the order that they're in, and they're listed in alphabetical order by the module name. So how this will work best is if you do not delete any columns out of the gradebook, and you just enter the grades. If you're somebody who's going to accept electronic submissions, this is where you'll go to get your submissions. They'll just you'll get an explanation point in the grade column when work needs to be graded. If you are collecting work from students in a classroom, you don't need to worry about collecting it in Blackboard. You'll just type your grades in when you're ready to enter grades. Out of the total points possible, the 1,000 points, 50 of them come from attendance, and we encourage you to use the Quickly Attendance tool. We think many people are very happy with this. If you click on attendance on your course menu, you can just begin the setup, and you can work through how to set it up for those 50 points. If you need help with Quickly, click on Welcome to TCC and view the Quick Start Guide. The information is very thorough, and you already have it on your course menu, but the setup, if you'll click on that, it takes you through exactly how to set up your Quickly Attendance. And again, if you have any problems with that, you might want to contact a technologist to help you out. Okay, now we're going to look specifically at the instructor resources for a content area. So I am going to pick note-taking and listening skills. And I am going to open instructor resources. There'll be instructor resources in every content area for each module, and you will, all of them will have a note-taking or a module plan for the lesson. So this, you'll open your module plan, and it would help if you would keep that in front of you while watching this video. If you do not have these, you should get with Lori Coggins and she can provide you with them, or you can download it from your Blackboard site. So you've got this overview. Students will read from the online textbook before the class period. During class, students will practice note-taking skills and compare their notes with their classmates. You are going to have some options of assigning one of 3 assignments. You'll either have them take notes in another class, take notes in a future one of your lectures, or you'll add notes, or you'll have the option of having them take notes in class and add to a class blog. Each of these 3 assignments includes a written reflection, and you have your outcomes where they're selecting a strategy for taking notes, they're taking notes that reflect the main point of the lecture, and they're reflecting on the effectiveness of the note-taking strategy. It's 1 class meeting, and it's worth 25 points. And if you look at your green schedule, you can see that aligns one class period, 25 points, and you've got 1 assignment. And on the student schedule, you can see that they are told in advance that that note-taking is here on day 6, that they're to read, that their pre-class assignments are to read the online textbook, and then that they're going to have a complete the note-taking assignment at the end, and that's their reflection. So, this particular module has no scheduling needs. You don't need a special classroom, and nobody's coming to your class to lecture. The scheduling of meetings, you can put this note-taking anywhere on your schedule, but the earlier you do it would probably be the most benefit from the students. For the students, the assignments are a pre-class reading and the note-taking assignment. So for the details, you're always going to have this pre-class activity that tells you what they need to do, and then you're going to have class prep that tells you what you need to do. And in this case, you should do the reading that the students are going to do, and you can decide if you want students to work the exercise at the end of the textbook reading. If you want them, you can have them do that if you want them to. You're going to watch the How to Take Great Notes video before class. You're going to show it during class, but you should watch it before class so that you're prepared. And then you're going to determine which of the in-class activities you're going to do. Many of the modules have multiple options, and so you are going to pick which one is going to work for you, and it's in section number 2 below. And then you're going to select the note-taking assignment you want them to use. Again, you have options. We tried to accommodate as many preferences as we could, and the assignments were hopefully you'll find one that appeals to you. So in class, you're going to play the video on how to take great notes. You are going to lecture on various note-taking strategies. You're going to do some listening activity, and there's a document that you can open, and there's some activities for how to listen well, and they'll give you some ideas for activities to do in class. And then you're going to have the students select a strategy they think will be effective for them for note-taking, and they're going to watch a video. There's 3 different options. You can pick one. And then in small groups, they can compare their notes with other students, and then you as the instructor can review the main points of the video, and they can see if they got those in their notes. And then you might have them select a different strategy for note-taking, and you can lecture a little bit on listening skills and have the students take notes. So this is like your instructor lecture that they're taking notes. You're lecturing on listening skills, they're taking notes. And they're going to try a different strategy of note-taking, and in small groups they can compare their notes with other students. And then again, you can review the main points of the lecture. And then you'll finish your session by explaining the note-taking assignment that you've chosen. And there's some different options. You could have the students select one of your lectures, and they could take notes and they could submit them either in Blackboard or to you in person, and you could give them some feedback on how well they're doing with their note-taking. Or you could have them take notes from a lecture from a different class and submit them to you, and you could provide some feedback. Or you could do what's called the class blog, where you could assign one or more students to each of the remaining lectures in your class, and have those students responsible for the lecture or the posting of notes in the class blog. And the directions for that are in your course site. Okay, so then as you go down the list, you'll find that there's a rubric that will help you grade their assignment. And there are some required reflective prompts that will go with, regardless of which option you pick, there'll be a reflection that they'll do, and there'll be some reflective questions, and that's what you'll grade on. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the instructor resources. So we've been through the taking the note-taking module plan, and we've gone through the assignment options, and here's your grading rubric again, and taking the notes in the FYE lecture is one, and all of the specifics are there. So if I open up taking notes in an upcoming FYE lecture, that will pop open a document that gives you very specific directions that you can assign to your students. And so, so you can look at that, and you'll decide which one you want, and you'll be making that available to the students in the content folder. Here's your video. Here's your activities for listening options, and if you open that document, there's some ideas for activities and content that you can use for giving your lecture about listening. There are some videos. There's 3. You can pick one and use that to have the students take notes on, and you might want to look at it and see which one best aligns with where you're going with your service learning. There might be one that's more relevant than another. And then you have optional resources for how to take notes using the Cornell note-taking method. And these are, you can look them over and decide. There's like, if you show the Iron Gate video, there's notes for that, and there's a handout for the Cornell method, there's a PowerPoint with examples, and there's notes for reading partners, so those might be helpful to you. So from the student point of view, let's go back. This is what the students see. Turn edit mode off for a second. Okay, so they see the name of the module in the module outcomes. They get the pre-class reading, so that's already set up for you. You don't have to do anything. They can, the video is available to them, and all 3 videos that you could use in class are there. And then here are the lecture content items. So those are things that you will, that will be available to the student immediately, and I guess we'll turn edit mode on. So there are a couple things that you will have to make available, and that would be the note-taking assignment directions. You pick your assignment, and you copy and paste those instructions into this content area, and attach the Word document if that's relevant. And then you delete this purple text. So you want to give them the assignment. If you're going to collect the assignments through Blackboard, you make the note-taking assignment available. If you're not, that's fine. You can just enter the grade straight into the grade book. And that's it. So basically, for each of these modules, you're going to go through, you're going to read the instructor plan, what the students are doing before the class, so that you can make sure that you give them plenty of time to do their homework assignments. And you go through very carefully what you need to do, and then you make the content available as needed based on the options that you choose, and then you customize any of the other items that have purple text as needed. So if you have any questions about content, Lori Coggins, Deanna Cooper, or Linda Brown are probably best contacts for content questions.